Welcome to section 2.5, solving equations involving percents. Well, this is not going to be a very difficult section. It's a very simple task to deal with percents. First off, what does percent means? Percent is Latin for divide by 100. That is basically what an old teacher of mine way back when told me what percent was. Percent per 100 divided by 100. Okay, so let's take a look at this. How do we translate that to an equation? Okay, now that we're masters of solving equations, now what we want to do is put that knowledge to use. What is 75% of 274? Here's what you do. Whenever I see the word is, that's an equals. Of is a multiply. What is, call it x. So what is 75% of multiply 274? And I might have to break open the calculator now, okay, because they're talking about decimals, so I'll have this calculator on the ready. And so what do we do? Well, here's what you do. Now, some calculators have percent signs built into them. A lot of people don't enter the percent sign correctly in their calculator, so I'm not going to assume that you have a calculator that does this. But first off, this is what this is equal to. We can't do percentages, math with percentages. We have to translate it into either a fraction or a decimal. Here, I translated it to a fraction. Okay, and from there you can do the problem. Another way to do that is just understand that 75% is got a decimal right there. And if you're dividing by 100, you move the decimal point over twice. And so the answer would be 0.75, which is a number you could do math with, times 274. And so what I'm going to do is just go in my calculator, 0.75 times 274. And that's equal to 205.5. Let's see if that's right. 205.5. Nice. Good job. Great job. Let's see what the next one is. Find 44% of 6 kilograms. Okay. That's pretty much the same thing as what is 44% of 6 kilograms. Do you agree? Find 44% of 6 kilograms. What is 44% of 6 kilograms? It's almost like this problem if you think about it. 44% times 6 is equal to x. So I'm going to go the root of taking the decimal over here. And when you divide, you get 0.44 times 6. So let's go ahead and punch that into the calculator. Let's clear it. Where's the clear? Clear. Come on, where's the clear? The most important button. Oh, AC clear. Okay. 0.44 times 6 equals, I'm going to say 2.64. 2.64. Check that answer. Nice. I like getting green boxes. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at problem 3 here. 40% of what area is 16? Well, literally, if you just listen to what I'm saying here, what I'm going to say is 40% of what? Okay, of what? It's a little bit different from this, but the idea is pretty much the same. 40% of what is equal 16. So now what I'm going to do is just move that decimal point, because you can't really do math with percents, but you can do with 0.40, moving the decimal point over twice. And so what I'm going to do to solve for x is divide by 0.4. Okay, so if we come over here to the calculator, we'll clear it. type in 16 divided by 0.4 equals 40. Okay? Let's try that, 40. I'm going to let you do this one because this is almost the same thing as what we did just in problem 3, only the number's a little bit different. 30% of what number is 12? That's almost exactly like this, only the numbers have changed. So just to have you have some fun doing these problems, I'll let you do the number 4. 70% of what number? That's the same thing. So, but I'm going to do this. It's the same thing as the previous two, but I will do this one because I don't want to skip everyone. So I'm not going to do that. New, and come over here. 70% of what number is 42? Get it? 0.70 times x equals 42. And guess what you're going to do to solve for x? So you're going to divide by 0.7. 42 divided by 0.7. Should be 60. I don't think I need the calculator for that. Should be 60. 60. Boom. Yes, yay. Very good, very good. The number 6.75 is 300% of x. Okay, here's what you're going to do. Literally just take those things. The number 6.75, and these words almost are like a distraction. They're not really necessary. The number 6.75, well, of course 6.75 is a number. 6.75 is 300% of x. And so let's move that decimal point over twice. 1, 2, that makes us 3. Okay. And if I divide by 3, okay, I'm going to get 2.25. 2.25. 6.75 divided by 3 is 2.25. Great. Great, great, great. Okay. 7. Okay, this is a little bit different. 7 cents is what percent of 56? Okay, so what do I do? First off, yeah, this is major league different from what we did here, but the equation is the same. The way you write the equation is the same. I just need to understand. You have to understand that x percent, you can't do math with percent. What you got to do is do math with the fact that percent means divide by 100. Okay, so I'm going to take this x and divide by 100, multiply by 56. So in the end, what you have here is x is being multiplied by a fraction. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't look good. X is being multiplied by 56 over 100. Now, do you remember what you need to do when you have a variable multiplied by the fraction? Yep, you're right. You multiply both sides by the reciprocal of that fraction. Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. And these fractions cancel out. You're left with the x. X is 7 times 100, or 700, over 56. And I'll bang that out on my calculator here. Okay, clear it. 700 divided by 56. It says 12.5%. Okay? I'm going to go with it. 12.5%. There you go. See? See, let's take a look at number 8 and we'll be halfway done. 5 is what percent? Okay, this is like this problem here. Let me just take a look at the next one. Okay. All right, let's clear the paper. Don't save. File new. Okay. 5 is equal to X percent of 45. Okay. Okay, so write that X over 100. Okay, let's put the 45 a little bit closer to the X to show that that's really a fraction there. Equals 5. What we're going to do is multiply both sides by the reciprocal of that fraction. And then we're home free. Okay, so what we're going to do is take 500, 5 times 100, divided by 45 is equal to X. All those numbers go away, so take your calculator. Clear it just to make sure. 500 divided by 45. Okay, now they don't, okay, this is not coming out nice and even, but now that I look at this, type an integer, fraction, or mixed number. They don't want decimals. So what they want you to do, stay with this number. This is correct. Problem is 500 over 45 can be simplified. So keep it as a fraction because that's what they want. Divide by 5, top and bottom. If I divide the top by 5, I get 100. The bottom by 5, I get 9. And 100 over 9 is much better. Okay, 100 over 9. Check that answer. Nice work. Halfway done. What percent of 80 is, okay, I think we can do those. I think you can do that. What is 5% of 200? These are all pretty much the same. So I'm going to skip those three because they really are the same. Because we've seen a lot of examples of that. But I will do these word problems. I think the next ones are a bunch of word problems. Oh yeah, we got some word problems to do. Okay. So I think I could sneak that right over here. The graph shows the employee, it shows the breakdown of faculty and staff of the 110 employees at a college. How many more faculty than staff work here? Okay. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to say, let's see, we're going to say this. Okay. We have a, okay, here's what you got. This, I blanked out there, I'm sorry. Here's what you got. Faculty is equal to 110 times 60%. Okay, that's what that is, 60%. 110 times 60. 60% of 110, according to this graph, are faculty. So if I come over here and bang out 110 times 0.60, I should get 66 faculty for that. Okay. And then we've got staff. And staff says that there's 40% of the 110. See, the total amount in this pie chart is 110. 40% of 110 are staff. So that's what we're saying. 40% of 110 is going to be equal to 110 times 0.40, and that's going to equal 44. Okay, we got the problem. So how many more faculty than staff do we have? Well, we have to say 66 minus 44, which equals 22, which is the number I'm going to put there because that represents the how many more faculty you got. Great job. Great job. Now let's see. Yesterday, 10 employees in office were absent. If these absences constitute 25% of the employees, what's the total number of employees? Okay, this is what we can do, but I think I might do this on a separate sheet of paper. Virtual paper, file, new. Okay. So what I'm going to say is this. I got to read the whole thing. Okay. 10 employees. These employees are equal to, this is the fancy word, are equal to 25% of the total number. So that's what that says. 10 employees equals 25% of the total number of employees. So what do? Change that to a 0.25 to do the math. X equals 10. I'm going to divide by 0.25. And I believe that's going to cancel. X is equal to 10 divided by 0.25 should give you 40 employees. Makes sense. 10 over 40 is 0.25. Yeah, that's it. 40 employees at this place. Nice. Okay, what do we got here? This might be useful because people buy houses and stuff. And let's take a look. A house is purchased for $200,000. What percentage of the purchase price is a down payment of $50,000? 25%. Okay, here's what they're saying. $50,000 is equal to what percent of 200,000? Does that make sense? I wish I could say yes or no. I wish I could hear you say yes or no, but this is a video, and these are the new times that we live in. So 50,000 is equal to what percent of 200,000? And I think that's basically what he's saying here in these sentences. So what do? First off, what we're going to do is say X over 100. 200,000 equals 50,000. Okay. Right now, you might want to take the reciprocal, but that you don't need that. Look at this. 200,000 over 100. You can cancel out 1 0, 1 0, another 0, another 0, and what you're left with is X times 2,000, okay, equals 50,000. All right. So you could have done the reciprocal, but the long and the short of it is I can divide 100 into 200,000 to get 2,000, and I'm going to divide both sides by 2,000. Too many zeros. Equals X. Cancel out 1, 2, 3 zeros. 50 over 2. I don't need a calculator. 25. 25%. Bang that in there. 25%. Is that right? I am so happy with myself. So proud. So proud. Okay. Now we only got 2 more. And let's see what this thing's supposed to look like here. Suppose an animal species is considered to be endangered if the population drops by more than 60%. If a species population fell from 4,000 to 1,900, should we consider the species endangered? Well, I think what we need to do is subtract these 2 values, okay? Subtract those 2 values because that represents the number of those poor animals that died. And so let's get a new sheet of paper, though, before we do that. File, new, okay, All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take 4,000. That's the original number of animals minus 1,900. I don't think we need all that stuff that we learned before this problem here. Just a little bit of logic. And that's going to be equal to 2,100. Okay. So 2,100. All right, 2,100. It did it. This is the drop. Okay, so that's the drop. 2,100 divided by 4,000. Okay, that's the percentage drop. I calculated the drop. So 2,100 divided by the original value. Let's see what that's equal to. Where's my calculator? Did I lose my calculator? Okay, clear it. Let's do 2,100. 2,100 divided by 4,000 equals. This is 0.525. Move the decimal pointer over. See, that's 0.525. I don't want 0.525. I want 52.5%. Now, let's see. It only dropped 52.5%. Still a lot of animals died, but it didn't reach the magic number of 60, so I'm going to say no to answer that question. Great. That's what you're going to do for that guy. And the last question, Ernie deposits $7,100 at 10% for 1 year. How much simple interest does he earn? Very nice problem. Okay, because everybody likes money. They like to put it in the bank. Most people do. And you get interest. This is not exactly how the bank calculates the interest, but this is simple interest. What they're saying is, simplistically, at the end of a year, you take 7,100, multiply by 10%. And that's the amount of money that they're going to put in your account at the end of the year. In addition to the original 7,100, that's the interest. Now that's equal to, now we can't do percentages, we got to do decimals. So 7,100, okay, times, let's see, 0.10. See, I moved the decimal over the percentage over twice. And then what I'm going to do is take my calculator, okay, bang that number out. That's going to be 7,100 times 0.10, and that's equal to $710. So at the end of that year, in addition to the original money you put into the bank, you're going to get $710. So at the end of the year, you're going to get, your bank account's going to have $7,810. But all they want is the interest. So we put that in there. That's all they want is that final answer, and we're done with percentages. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the lecture, and we'll see you in section 2.6. Thanks.